parents grapple with the complexities of modern life, they find themselves confronted with a paradox. The very lessons they once imparted to their children now seem obsolete in the face of rapidly changing social norms. In the age of ride-sharing apps and remote work, the lines between stranger and friend, safety and risk, blur with disconcerting ease. Father and mother are no longer confined to rigid definitions. As the concept of family evolves, so too must our understanding of what it means to be a parent, a partner, and a provider. Perhaps one defined not by titles or roles, but by love, understanding, and mutual respect.
Someday I'll actually get technically capable. Emma, how you doing? We're going to bring Simon on in a second. I know you had a little bit of issue with the link loading earlier.
Yes.
Check out the name. Check out in the comments. Check out the name that's there, Emma.
Okay. I actually can't see it.
How about that?
Oh, Brandon's in here.
I was going to say, you recognize your uncle there, huh? He's on his way to Cabo right now. He's 30,000 feet in the air. How you doing, Brandon? So Emma, why don't you do the introduction, and then I will bring Simon on, and we'll kind of start going. Did you get to go through any of the information that we've been kind of talking about? And I know you had a crazy couple of days here, but why don't you bring on what we're talking about, and then when you're ready to
I do not know what we're talking about. I don't know what we're talking about. I wasn't able to go through I was so tired when I got home last night.
You know who's there? You know who else is there?
Dean.
Let's have some game, Grandpa Duff. Okay, so I don't have game. Is that what you're telling me?
No, he said let's hear some game.
Gotcha.
He just is terrible at spelling.
Okay, gotcha. So introduce us. We'll bring Simon on. He's got a number of questions for you. Stuff like, what's the stupidest question a grown-up like me asks you that you have to deal with? We're going to have a lot of fun going through a number of subjects. But I think, Simon, and raise your hand if I'm right, I think we're going to talk a lot about the school, the Regeneration School Program, and kind of where that's going, some of the fundraising that we're kind of capital raising that we're starting to get involved with. But mainly, I really hope this kind of develops, not devolves. Boy, I hope that's not a foreshadowing. I'd like you to introduce us, and then you and Simon. He's got a lot of curiosity about, because he's watched a number of your shows, and he does what we do, but kind of in a handoff baton. You know what we were talking about last night, where we're starting at that younger age, kind of bringing people through, and then he's kind of, his program, several different ones, including Leaf, is receiving that baton, and then going in and then getting kids at this point from your age and up, starting to work in programs for corporations, solving problems. We'll get into some of those details. You guys can go back and forth. We haven't even started the show. We already got, hey, Christina, how you doing? We already got like 4 or 5 different people on. This is really wild. But let's do that. I'm gonna step back, and let's start the show all over with all of our friends here. Let's start the show all over. Emma, you start.
Okay, hi, my name is Emma. I'm co-host of Voices at the Table, and my grandpa Rod is here.
You're really rocking it today, aren't you? Come on, you got this. Go.
We talk. You want me to say what we talk about? We talk about like teenagers, mental health, and parents and school. We talk a lot about teenagers in general and just their experiences and stuff like that. And we do have a guest on here, Simon. Yes.
Hey, Simon, help her out with your last name.
Sure. It's kind of two parts. It's Holz and then Apfel. Holz is the German word for wood. Apfel is the German word for apple.
Oh, so you're German.
Holzapfel. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So wait, say it again.
Holzapfel.
Holzapfel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Now,
Holzapfel.
the other thing I would say is I was also a U.S. history teacher in high school for a long, long time. Many of my students would use some other word, and as long as it was respectful and I knew that they were talking to me, that was also fine. So we don't need to spend time on my last name pronunciation.
Okay.
And by the way, I'm afraid of his last name, so that's why I had you do it.
Why are you afraid of it?
Because you know how horrible I am with names. Simon is easy. I got Simon all day long. Holzapfel is a little more of a challenge if I'm not paying attention. You know how it is.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as starting this off, this is our second in a row, let's call it a panel, 3-panel person. So it's kind of interesting that I haven't had, I mean, technology, we're continually pushing. I did a new intro for this series, which we didn't see today because Simon and I were chit-chatting. We're showing in the new studio. Emma, do you recognize that kind of looks like Fullerton Music Center's back there with the piano, kind of the stage and piano? You can see that, right? By the flag, you see the baby grand back there?
Yeah.
So this is where we're starting to develop that next step where we can come in and start talking to teenagers here, so that we have this scenario, and then we also have people coming in. Why don't you, Emma, before you get started with Emma, because I know you really have a number of questions you want to get into, because I mean, you and I talked about this. You very much enjoyed the level of maturity that she has, and I'm biased, so if you could expand on that gives a little more credibility. But the level of just sheer self, okay in her own skin, confident, not to the point of being arrogant, but just confident and being able to. I mean, she's challenged every week talking to adults about adult and child issues, and you've seen it. She runs through. So I'm going to stop yapping about her. Why don't you, Emma? Why don't you read why don't you say hi to Brandon? And there's a couple of folks down here that are just kind of warming up. Why don't you say hi to them, and then Simon? Why don't we kind of have you guys kick off together, and I'll duck out.
Sure.
Wait, is Brandon going to Arizona for DC?
No, he's going to Cabo San Lucas. They're on vacation, so he's flying. Before you were born, we used to always go to Cabo like all the time. That was our thing. And no, me. Well, let's see. Let me think about this. While your dad and your uncle were children, yes, and he's going with Deb and his wife and with Matt. I don't know if they're actually in the air.
He said he just landed.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. He said just landed in Arizona.
Oh, they must be doing a stopover or something, I'm guessing. Anyway. So Christine Chance, she popped on the last time you were on the show. She's a local here. Well, when I was local in Illinois, and a new follower here. And then we both know who Dean is, and we'll just see how. Let's see, what does it say? Wow, that's awesome, Simon Holtz. Apfel. Broke it up. Look what he did there. All right, Simon, why don't you, since we're all playing around with you here a little bit, why don't you? I mean, it's quite ironic that us teenagers get to play around with the teacher here a little bit. So why don't we start behaving? And why don't you bring you and Emma bring the professional level of the show up a little bit, or quite a bit, and I'll back up and kind of watch you guys and for a minute, and then as questions come in and as ideas pop up, I'll interject. But just kind of let's get this thing going. By the way, Emma, I don't know what your time is, but literally in 45 minutes. Simon has to be off. He's got
Yeah.
another engagement. So we've got
Okay.
45 minutes, which is short for our show, as you know.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Simon, you're up. Introduce.
Great. I mean,
Reintroduce. Sorry.
So you want to reintroduce myself? Sorry, was that right?
Yeah. So the last show that you and I were on was not this one.
Oh, that's right. Sure.
So this audience is probably slightly different makeup. So let's go back through where you were.
Sure.
What the journey, remember this, the journey that put you on the journey you're on now, which by the way, is one after Emma and my own heart.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Simon Holzapfel. I've been a lifetime educator. I've spent about the last 15 years in leadership. So that means kind of C-suite level, also doing work on a board of directors, governance level sort of stuff. But I'm also just a teenager at heart. I've got a 20-year-old son in college. I got a 15-year-old daughter, 10th grade. So I'm a dad, I'm a husband, I'm an educator. And I also work with people who are trying to make really hard things happen in the world in their organizations. I also serve as the CFO of the Leaf Lab, which we can talk about later if we want to. But
yes, definitely do.
Okay, so like your granddad said, really what we're trying to do is solve the problem of how do you take millions of high school, college graduates each year, and while they're still there, learn the digital business skills that they need to get the sort of job that can let them not have to choose between a good place to live and a good job. Because as work moves more and more to the remote world, and the people who can be successfully adding value to teams in that world, they're going to be good, which means you can make a livelihood from many more places than you used to be able to. And that's what we're trying to do, is see that, that matching problem of getting young people matched with jobs and companies just a little bit easier. That's really what we're trying to do.
Okay.
So, and Simon, just to kind of bring a couple of steps forward, because I see Emma, I see her mind going and going, okay, let me wrap a little bit closer around this. So, and I have a distinct advantage, Emma, because we've chatted already a number of times. Producer Barbie's on. This is all in the family coming up here. It's great to see the family supporting everybody, and that's one of the beautiful things about this. But so as we're talking, Simon, bring a little bit more on how that works, because it's fascinating to me in the projects and the letters we've sent back and forth and how that structures. So it's quick, it's hit, and it's day by day, and it unites perfectly with our voices at the table and with our Regeneration School Project.
Yeah.
Just fill in a little bit more for Emma, if you would. Do you mind, Emma?
No.
Do you mind?
No.
No? Okay, good.
And so really, Roddy, it was the Regeneration Project that got me super stoked about being on with you. Because once I saw what you guys were doing, I was like, oh, cool. Here's one of another 1,000 people across this country, not waiting for permission, not waiting for a savior, looking for what's around them and what can they build, and doing stuff like this. So we can talk about how the lab can get right connected to the Regeneration Project, and what does that sort of interface look like. That's easy to do. That's kind of a technical thing. I think the more important thing is when we look at teen mental health, when we look at teen unemployment rates, when we look at just all these things that teenagers are facing, it's just so daunting. I mean, frankly, I'm really glad and feel lucky to not have to be a teenager now, because I think it's a lot harder. And so we built the lab to try to make those professional transitions easier by teaching young people the most current skills. And we know that we teach them because we also teach them to executives, because we all used to do this in big companies. And we found that helping young people is more gratifying than helping people who are in their 40s and 50s and 60s and know that, or think that they know everything. And the people like you help us realize that there are better ways.
Thank you.
Yeah, very well put. In that, do you have, because we were just talking a lot about what you're talking about now last week, unemployment. So elders can't quite make all the bills necessarily. I was talking to a guy yesterday from my industry. I guarantee he's on. His name's Randy. And so they do the different, we were talking about this, that different people are finding they've retired now, but the benefits aren't keeping up with what's happening because all this money's going to places it shouldn't be, and other places and so forth. But do you know the numbers of unemployed? Is there stats out there that are easily accessible or no? I know it's a thing, but do we know numbers?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure with some searching in AI, we could find reasonable enough numbers to have a conversation from, for sure. I guess I'm also I'm interested to hear, Emma, from you. Like, what about your friends? Like, do your friends work? Do they not work? Are they trying to work? Are they finding it hard to work? I'd love to hear kind of front row. What's it like from what you're seeing?
It's really hard to get a job. Like, even I've been trying to get a job for a really long time. There was one day I like took off school and I applied to 85 jobs that day, and I got one call back for an interview, and it ended up not even being an interview. It wasn't even a real interview. It was a setup interview that they didn't even. It was this whole thing. I didn't get any calls back, and I know people who are like, "Bro, I'm trying to apply and it's not working." So many people are trying to apply for jobs, and they just can't. Like, they just literally can't. It's so hard to get a job right now, especially in easy things like McDonald's or like just something easy. It's really hard.
Yeah. And so you said you put out 80 plus applications, basically got one person back. What do you think is going on there? I'm just trying to.
I don't know. I think a lot of elderly people are going into those type of jobs because they try to go in retirement and then they can't get retirement anymore. So they go into those jobs.
So we're competing.
Yeah.
We're competing with them in those kind of jobs. Those jobs that were you mentioned McDonald's. Those are meant to be entry-level jobs. And so a lot of that has been taken away. So go ahead. I just wanted to add that in. I saw Christina said her kids are struggling too. Same thing. Basically within the same age range. I think a couple of years older than you.
Yeah, it's really hard to get some with like no experience too, because all the no experience jobs, elderlies are going into the no experience jobs. So it's like there's no room for like teenagers to get the jobs where like it was kind of meant for a teenager to get the job at. It's really hard.
Yep.
Yeah.
And my daughter did the same thing last summer. She put out a bunch of applications. Almost no one got back to her. And the funny thing is, if you read the newspapers and you kind of read what's industry saying about like, do we have the right workers? They're also saying that we're not getting the right people. So there's just this spectacular mismatch of young people are really struggling to get their feet on the ladder. People who are running companies saying we can't get people. These things both can't be true in the same way. And it's just a huge mess. And so this is, again, to come back to the Regeneration School Project, what we really want to do there is let these kids understand how to get their feet under them. Figure out what they can do, figure out what they need help at, that sort of thing. So that hopefully, like Christina's experiencing, her son doesn't only work one day a week. That is not a living anything. It's pocket money, it's something. But we've got to build a much better conveyor belt to make opportunity spread out way, way broader in this country. That's really what my team is on a mission to do.
So what does that look like, Simon?
Sure.
Because add to all this, and by the way, I don't want to skip over Cheryl's, where she's talking about first impressions or everything, and never more the case than when you've got 80 applications out there and 80 other people are running in the door behind you to do the same thing.
Right.
And you add to it that the world today is so much different, that those those entry-level jobs aren't really good necessarily for kids nowadays that are so much more technically advanced than we were when we were just learning how to show up on time. Remember? That's why we went to McDonald's. So we had our first job when we were 16, 17. We knew how to show up on time. We knew how to brush our hair, right? I mean, by the way, folks, there's 3,344 people on right now.
Wow.
3,344 people on right now. I did a lot of marketing for this one. I wanted to blow it up, Simon. So
here's the funny thing. And Emma, you might be experiencing this too. So one of my business partners ran the recruitment function for the Snapple Dr. Pepper company for several years. This meant his behind was on the chopping block to hire 10,000 people a year.
Wow.
When was this, Simon? I remember you talked about. How long ago was this, roughly?
I'd have to ask him. I don't want to give you the wrong date. Point being, what
I think it was,
go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, the point being, one of the things that's happening in terms of AI, and Rod, I know you talk about AI, both sides of the labor market are AIing up, which means people like Emma who are savvy, they're just putting out gazillions more applications using AI. And companies are now flooded with all those applications and they don't know how to sort through them. So there are a lot of companies just totally, what's the, like, can I swear on the show? Is this like a PG-13 level of audience?
Fuck no.
He swears in here all the time.
Okay.
Hey, whoa. I get it from your mom.
No, you don't. My mom is younger than you. Don't blame my mother.
You see that? I just got, okay, now I'm going to get a call from Jesse. I know I am.
I hope you do.
So it really is tough because AI is working on both sides of the labor market and it's making it just really, really hard and it's totally messed up and people need to work. People want to work and the machinery is just broken.
Yeah. I feel like also with in-person applications too, I don't think I've ever gotten any call back for an in-person application. But a bunch of people are going in and
applying in person.
Applying. Yes. Yeah. So I feel like both sides it's really, really bad.
Yeah, it is.
So that's a thing. There's two different ways you don't normally just go in first. You normally go online or AI and do that scrub. And then if you get to go in, I don't know what the job market is like today. I've never worked. I've just done my own thing.
You're asking like how you can go in?
Yeah. What is you, Simon, you said they're both broken. And then Emma, you said that whole in-person thing I've never done. So I know what they mean, but maybe there's somebody out there like me where I don't understand what that congruency is. I know what the Regeneration School.
How you do it?
Please, yes,
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
So for in-person,
6,215 people are watching you right now.
Okay.
6,215. Just to mess with you.
Oh, okay. So basically when you walk in, it's like you say like, oh, are you guys hiring? And they'll ask for your name and your number and like just kind of do what they want with that, or they have like an application whole thing and you write down your name, your phone number, your experience and all that stuff and all that, and then you give it back to them and they either give you a call or not. In person, you can go on websites, scroll down at the bottom, click careers, and it's basically the same thing as that sheet, just online. And you can upload your resume and you can do that, or you can go on Indeed, which is like way quicker, but I've literally gotten nothing on Indeed. But I started going to the city of Ontario, and there's better chances like going from like your city, like going from the city.
So going to your city for job opportunities?
Yeah.
Like job boards, you mean?
Yeah, like the city, like the city place. That's what I did, and this is like the first time where they were like, "Oh, we have you in like the second process." I've never gotten any emails back, but they were like, "We have you in a second process. We're reviewing, yada yada." If you go like to the city hall of whatever city you're at, or if you go online, you can click careers and you can sign up.
All right. So Simon, you were talking about AI. I'm on, right? I'm on the stage. You were talking about AI and applications. So that means what in relation to the two examples? Well, actually, three examples Emma just gave, and I didn't think about going to the city, which is kind of what Ronaldo's talking about here. And some people approach it another way, that maybe have a little bit more room, that they don't have to make money necessarily out of the gate. But Ronaldo's bringing up a good point. Why not volunteer in a field you love? And when there's an opening, you already have a foot in the door, which is obviously a great idea. But let's talk about now all four of those, Simon. And how does AI as the fourth or third mix in with that. What do you think of that? I can't hear you.
That's because I put it into mime mode there for a minute.
There you go.
So it's just, AI is evolving really quickly. And so companies are getting swamped with applications, AI made applications. They have to then build an AI to deal with all the applications. And so it's like with any new technology, it takes a couple of decades to figure out how it works. And I'll give you just one example from history. Way back in the 1880s and 1890s, people started to realize X-rays could do interesting things. However, they killed a lot of people accidentally by exposing them to too much and the wrong kinds of X-rays. So a lot of people actually died in the early years of X-ray development. AI is obviously not like that. However, it's going to take a while for how it's going to work and work well to get figured out. And it's just like, it's kind of an arms race now. But again, that's the same thing. I mean, well, anyhow, I don't want to rant too much, but I'll leave it at that.
No, but that's interesting that you said that people are actually having to build AI receiving agents, let's call it, to deal with all the AI, whatever that agent would be called, because they're all agents, right? I mean, you train them to go out, the scrubbers we talk about, and so they're out. You can actually say, I want a job that does this, and this within a 50-mile radius of this area. I have this kind of experience, and it'll go out and look for that, right? Out of all the different things. But then everybody else who's in the know is doing that. So now you have a whole, remember we talked about a whole system is changing because of AI. And now even the way of getting jobs, we're about ready to come up on our break-in a record here. We're at 6903. But and this is a 60. Okay. So Emma, you're 16. You are talking to two old fogies. I'm an older fogey. He's a less older fogey.
I'm a medium fogey.
He's a medium fogey. I'm an old fogey. And you got a bunch of range of fogies out there in the audience. And you're competing in the world we're talking about right now. And that's why I think, Simon, I believe, leading on to what you were saying earlier, kids have it harder today than they ever had it. It's so, I mean, kids are smarter today. I couldn't teach math today. No way to hell. I couldn't teach math back then. So that was a bad example, but you know what I mean. So at the end of the day, kids are much more sophisticated. They're much more informed. They're much more of a lot of things, including the fact of being savvy at things. However, that puts them now in a position where they're competing with people my age for their simple, what'd you call them, Emma? Simple jobs kind of thing, no-brainer kind of job, McDonald's kind of jobs.
No experience.
Yeah, you're competing with not only us and as well as how the way the world works. What do you think of that, Emma? How do you think that? I mean, that competition, you're ahead of most. I'd say, and I'm biased, but I think everybody would agree, you're ahead of everybody basically your age, except for Simon might not agree. He's got 1 year age. So with that said, what do you think of that? I mean, when we talk about all that, you're living in an adult world as a 16, where I didn't have to live in there till I was after 25, something like that, right?
You're talking about like for the jobs and stuff like that, and competing with all the jobs and stuff?
That, and then that as a function of life. I mean, if you want to extend it out, it's a function of life, but yes, jobs. Yes.
A lot of people do like, since they can't get jobs, or the parents don't let them get them jobs, or they don't have cars, because a lot of kids just can't even get jobs even if they were trying to, because they don't have a car, their parents won't let them. So a lot of people sell things. A lot of people do things to I started selling cakes. I started selling mini cakes at school. My friend, she sells cookies and brownies, and there's so many people who sell things so they can make some money. So it's not really like, so they can just go up to people and ask.
See the next entrepreneur there, Simon? Yeah, I see you smiling. You're an entrepreneur. Look at the budding entrepreneur here.
Yep.
Go ahead. So a lot of people are selling things online, as well as
not even online.
Dancing.
It's in school. Gotcha. It's in school, so they just go and. Why are you guys laughing?
Because he saw me dancing is probably exactly why he's laughing.
Yeah, and making jokes.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of
so
people.
You're talking about actually at school.
Yeah, just at school. You go up to people, you show it to them. They might want it, they might not. But there's so many people to go up to at school. Like you could make like $300 if you have.
Really?
Because my cakes, they're like $6. My cakes are like $6. Yes, they're like mini cakes.
What flavors?
Right now I have strawberry crunch, and then I have Cookie Monster. It's just chocolate cake with. Oh, I need to send you pictures. They're cute. Dean helps me with them too. He helps me a lot with them.
Dean's on here.
Dean
Dolph.
Dean
the Bean.
Dean the Bean. But it's like strawberry cake and then the frosting and the toppings and all that. But I sell them for $6. And if I made a whole thing, I was like, oh, if I make 60 of them and sell 60 a week, I'll make like $315 around that. Well, I'll make like a little bit more than that, but I'm gonna need groceries. But a week that I can have for myself, my profit is $315.
So where do you sell these things? Like in the hallways, or you just talk to people and pass stuff around to each other? By the way, doing that in Diamond Bar, California, is a lot more equitable because of the numbers you talked about than in Mangum. So obviously there's different challenges. But how do you just thought to bring that out? But how do you do what in the hallways? Do you just know each other, or because it's not just you? There's a few different people that are passing around their numbers or something. How's that work?
Well, my friend helps me because she has been doing that. So she helps me, and she basically, I get scared to go up to people, but what you do is like go up to people, or in class you'll like put them like you'll fix them, act like you're fixing them, and people are gonna see it and be like, oh, what is that? And you're like, oh, it's these cakes that I'm selling, and you don't even have to go up to nobody. But yeah, you can
girl after my own heart.
Lunch is really good because like everyone's hungry at that time, and then I pull them out and they're like, oh my gosh, that looks so good, like how much is it? And yeah.
Wow, that's a girl after my own heart, Simon. She's a salesperson. You hear her working that? That was awesome. That was awesome. Now,
well, I mean,
Brandon here's all. Just before you go, just real quick, I want to slide this in. Networking and applying to companies that might be advertising on your typical platforms is another way to do what you're talking about. But also, that's a digital form of what you're saying, Emma, where you're networking with people, putting yourself in the right positions in the right times. And then Simon, build on what you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome to see. And so I think actually, Emma, for people like you who are willing to just like try something, get good at it, right? You're not going to start as an expert baker, get good enough, come in, have a shtick like that. That's it. It's that attitude that if you just keep doing that, some bakery is going to want to hire you because you can run stuff. You can make stuff happen. And that's, almost every human can do that when they're encouraged by their environment. And most people actually don't get anywhere near enough of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead, Emma. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying, yeah. Continue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
fine.
you can talk.
All right. So what, thank you. So where I want to go with that is that's kind of a lead in, and to be honest with you, Simon, we haven't even gotten started yet. And I mean, my God, look at it on the right side of your screen. I mean, we haven't even gotten started yet. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll get to that in a second. Let's get into your LEAF program. Sure. And there's actually a couple of them that are there. Why don't we just lay that out so we can help everybody else kind of guide in? Because even if you duck out early, I know enough about this subject to be able to dial and carry it on. Sure. So let's at least lay the foundation here, Simon. Yep. And you and Emma can lay that together because your programs are very much aligned. And so go on, please.
Yeah.
Further ado.
Sure. So I think the first thing to do, Rod, is we can just get the Leaf Lab URL into the show notes. We can go from there because any of your audience members can go there. They can email me. So that'll be easy. Someone in the chat said, what role do I play in connecting schools with real world careers?
Hold on. Sorry. Yep. That's a really good question. So you don't have to type it, read it off so I can try and type as quick as I can in the comments.
Sure.
And while you're talking, I'll
Sure.
be typing.
Yep. So what I'm going to do is, sure, it's L-EAF. So it's leaf with a hyphen between the L and the E. leaflab.org. So L-EAFLAB.org. And you'll see that we have 4 sort of different ways for people to get involved. Just very briefly, how does the lab connect people with careers? The way it works is me and my business partners, we solicit low urgency projects from small and medium-sized companies. So these are companies that are understaffed. They know that they need to get stuff done. They're looking for talent. They don't know how to do it. So they'll bring us projects that are back burner projects. What we do is then get lots of applications from high school and college students. And those students then come in, we train them, and they work on distributed teams through Zoom, and they literally create solutions to these business problems. We then bring them back to the companies, and the companies then give us feedback, and we just keep iterating, improving till they're like, yep, this is good. So that when a student leaves the lab, they've got a digital portfolio and professional certifications that they can show to any company that says, I know how to add value. I know how to break a problem down. I know how to work with a team, et cetera, et cetera. And we can talk about that at some point. But yeah, Leaf Lab is what we do. There is no cost to join. There is cost to have. What's the age? So the age is, yep. So we've had kids apply from 10th grade and do great. Not every kid who applies from 10th grade does great. We've had master's students in MBA programs do great and also not do great. So really, if you're just a go-getter and you're willing to try new things and learn from people like me who will ask you to try new things, you're good. There's no cost to enter. And then we work and we fundraise locally so that, for example, for your Regeneration School Project, essentially what we'll do is we'll open a portal to the lab. Any kid with a cell phone can get on, and we'll talk, Rod, we can talk about how to kind of shape all this for your audience and for that program.
Yeah, but the only thing I want to do is just add a little tiny bit more color, because I see some very high interest, including Emma. They're trying to figure, okay, how does that connect? I know you don't want to.
Oh, how does it work?
We don't have enough time. Yeah. What is it that you're doing? So there's, you know how it is. You're breaking it down into these different segments each day. Yep. It's kind of a class.
Yep. Yeah. So, if you have people who work in tech, they'll be familiar with, for example, the stand-up meeting. It's about 15 minutes. Most of our meetings with students are about 15 minutes. We talk about the work that they're working on, give them feedback, and then we step out of the way. So the coaches basically let the students work for the majority of the time, and then we're just there on Slack or on email to answer questions. Then when the students leave the lab, we partner with various recruitment firms because, again, one of our business partners is in that world. Then students take what they've learned from the lab and they can show it to companies, and we can help them expedite that. Someone asked, how does the Leaf Lab method actually work in a classroom? Rod, can I share my screen and show you a picture of teachers using the method? Is that okay?
Please do. Please do. Yes.
All right. It'll take me just a second.
Do you have present on your button down there, right?
I think I have screen share. Yeah.
Yeah. And then if I can set it up easier with something like there. Oh, wait, where'd you go? He booted himself. Emma, you want to talk about makeup while he's gone? I did not boot him. That was not me. I swear to God. We're still at 6,400. I think he hit the wrong button.
He booted him.
I did not.
Yeah, you did.
This is, by the way, folks. Oh wait, I'm way back up here. Never mind. Hold on. Here he is.
Instead of hitting the
Now,
share
you know
button.
what? You want to hear something really bad? Emma blamed me for that whole time that she was saying that I booted you. See that? She already likes you better than me, and I'm her grandfather. This show is so anti ego for me because I get beat up. Go ahead, Simon.
So let me see if I can successfully share my screen. And what I'm going to show you is a picture of what does it look like to use this method. And so I'll show you. Here we go. Window, entire screen. Oh my God. All right. I'm going to struggle with my preference settings here. So let me just say briefly, the way it works is students then come into the lab. They work on these projects and they learn these certifications so that they can get Zoom jobs. They can get distributed remote team jobs. Because when we think about, what are the sacrifices that families make to just have a living wage, it's a lot. And so if we can't find ways to sort of expedite that process for more people, we're going to have more, underused talent in the country. We're not going to grow as fast as we could. We're not going to do all these good things because someone's ego or some stupid system got in the way. And I'm just going to keep looking for this picture here. So I'm going to stop talking for a second. Apologies.
All right. So let's, do you know what Dean means by this, Simon? 5.2K, what the sigma?
That means that I think that's how many people are watching.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I truly, I have no clue.
I don't.
How many people were watching?
Okay. All right. Hey, Dean, you got to help us out here. Only one person really gets you on this show right now. So Christina Chance, McDonald's, he went to virtually and did 2 in-person interviews, made him in dress pants, made up a tie in-person interview around her 50s, tried to impress her, and they only got a 1-day-a-week job out of that. And then Brandon comes through. While you're looking, Simon, I'm going to try and pull out some of these really quick. Emma, is anything you want to jump in or any questions from what Simon's talked about right now? Because I think this is what he's talked about is really in today's trend, today's world, and how your age moves into the next level. What do you think of that, Emma, what he's saying? Yes.
I think it's a really good program if kids can get jobs online, because it is hard to go in person and it is hard to get a job in person, and the car and the age and all that. I think that's really, really helpful.
Yeah. So with that, to piggyback on what you're saying, Emma, John Morris here says, this project sounds amazing, and it is. And I think the more and more people hear about it, especially we're basically going, I don't want to say cradle to grave, but cradle to household. It's really a new way to enter life in America, a new way to enter society, a new way to serve society, and a new way to, by that, get a job. So this project sounds really cool. How can more schools get involved? And that's one thing you and I have talked about, because there's teaching in each cities. And we talked about putting in voices around the table media in different spots across the country as we grow. You know what I'm talking about, right, Simon? Oh, how you got 10? You still got 15?
I got 15.
Okay. How you know what I'm talking about? How does that fold into this, and how do more schools get involved in that? And it really has to do with learning about the program a little bit. It's people like Emma and I that need to facilitate some of that pushing out, pushing out, right?
Sure. So yeah, I mean, the easiest thing for your audience to do is just go to the lab website and just email us. I personally get and respond to every single email that comes in, because we're a startup. And so even though I'm the CFO, I'm also the email checking guy and a bunch of other things. So just have your people, just have your audience just send me an email.
You got that. You got that right there on the iLeaf. Did I spell that correctly? On the website.
I think so.
Yeah, looks like it, huh?
Yeah, looks good. It's good. Yep.
Okay, beautiful. Emma, anything you want to jump in on with where he's at right now? Because I got a couple of questions and comments I need to jump into here. Wow, there's a lot of people I don't recognize on here. A lot of new people on today. That's very impressive. Anything? I think this is remember I told you we're working on adding a radio program to this series.
Yeah.
We've talked about that, right, Simon? Yeah, and Emma. Sam, I think Sam's the guy from there. Same name. I've never met him yet. So anyway, so he says, "Wow, what a powerful discussion happening right now," and it is because we always talk about this. We have the politics and the new events lane here, and what happens in that, like in the opening video, well, not this one, but you saw the one I'm referring to, Simon, in that they divide us first, men and women, then by colors or tone of skin, religion, and then easy squeezy lemon peasy, they divide and conquer. That's always what's going on. And so, yes, it's a powerful discussion because we need to come together as a group and make these kind of things happen. Did you get your picture yet, Simon, by the way?
I have to restart my browser, it's telling me, which is super annoying, but we'll get to it next time. And the other thing I would say is, I've written tons of stuff on my Substack about this. I can give that to you. You can share that with your audience. So how about
that's something I want to that's something I want to let's hover for a second. Emma, Substack, I learned this term recently. We're going to start a newsletter that is very easy to build out. Brandon and I were talking about it last night as well. And in that Substack, what we're going to start doing is giving it like Simon is going to be feeding us, and we're going to be feeding out newsletter information that people can then dive down in on a daily or a 3-4 days a weekly information. You don't want to wait a month and then read for 3 hours, but nice, easy newsletter. Substack. That's what you're talking about, right, Simon?
Yep.
So go on with what you're saying.
Yeah. So I made up a word, which I'll spell for your audience, and then I'll explain why I made up that word. But first, let me just respond to Leia's question. How did this project first get started? So this project first got started, and I don't know if she means Leaf Lab or if she means the Regeneration School Project.
She means Leaf Lab. Trust me, because she's a regular on the show. I don't know who she is, but she's on here all the time.
Very
she
good.
knows. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm asking her to correct me if I'm wrong, Leia. But I believe she's talking about Leaf Lab, and she may be talking about the integration of the two, which is more, I think, where we're going here.
Yes, and so we'll talk about how we do that integration with all of our partners. So basically, where this movement came out of was I was the principal of a school in the Hudson Valley in New York, upstate New York, and what I saw was just this huge gap in how schools were preparing young people to be productive members of society. And I was in a place to do something about it and did, and then, have met other people along the way who thought it was a good idea. And we have hundreds of kids, coming through the lab and out into the world. And it's, it basically started with, there was a need and some other people and I felt like we could address it in a way that, that would work and work for teens and young people.
It's interesting that we were just talking about, Leia, I believe she was talking about what you were talking about. And John here is talking about something I want Emma to jump in on here. And if Emma, if you want to throw it back to me, I know the answer because you're the answer to his question. But I mean, it is. I mean, this show, right? I mean, we started this, and then it's taken on its own thing. But Emma, do you want to jump on this a little bit, or do you want to chicken out and make me do it?
No, I'll do it. I'm a big girl.
Good one.
What inspired him to do this was because of me and because I'm amazing and I'm just awesome sauce. And he wanted to do this because of me. Because my grandpa loved me so much.
That is all very true. But I told Simon earlier that you were very, very confident, but not to the point of being, full of yourself. I think we've been pumping some laughing gas into you there, girl. I do. Oh boy, there was a delay there. I didn't think people were going to get me there for a second. So yeah, absolutely, John. You're 100% right. First of all, I've always seen, I think we all have always seen, and I have always talked about with Emma and her family, and probably will be with Brandon coming up because his is only 2. Or November 1st is their birthday, or they're celebrating your birthday. Anyway, it's the school system. I like to put it this way. Look at AI, right? It's moving the direction of society, the sophistication, the abilities of people. As that's come along, cars have gotten more sophisticated and better and more technically advanced, and this and that. Planes, and soon we're going to have the Jetsons flying cars, but even go back further than that. It used to be horses, and then society got more advanced, and it was cars, old whatever cars, and then cars got better and better and better. And then spaceship, planes, spaceships, all this. But what hasn't changed over the last 50 years, while everything else is improving, is our frickin' school system. As a matter of fact, it's done the opposite. And I don't want to turn this into a whole political system or political discussion, but our school system's gotten wacky. It's gotten disgusting. It's gotten ridiculous. It's gotten away from what its only purpose is. And on top of that, it's united with the federal government, which, by the way, is constitutionally illegal to do. So it's technically operating even as a whole illegally. So in the commercial, or the intro that I'm writing is for her show here. It's getting back to the fact that we aren't headed the right direction in this, and this school system needs a 5th core subject. Do you agree, Simon?
Oh yeah. Yep.
And so that really, when talking to Emma and her family and everybody, I mean, anybody you talk to, it's not a surprise that our school system is disgusting. I sent a kid to school for $12,000 a year in the private school system in Chicago, Catholic school system. He did fantastic, great education, $12,000 a year. That same public school area, actually nationally, what's their cost? $44,000 a year. And we're like number 40th in the world in education. So that's what inspired it. But then I got to know my granddaughter even better as she grew up, and said, oh my God, here's somebody who's an example of being better than what she's given. If that's a right way to put that. And
I think it is. I mean, kids are being underserved. They're being systematically underserved. Full stop.
All right. So here's a good one. And this goes back to Emma. This goes back to our show, Rob Gorski. Why don't you read this, Emma? Do you want to take this, Emma? Why don't you take this one here?
I'll take it.
We've still got about 6-7 minutes with you, Simon. So we're gonna keep working you back and forth here. Emma, go ahead. Sorry.
How can schools start integrating mental health as a core subject? We do it. I mean, it is a subject in school. It's literally like you have a health class, but
Health class, yeah.
I don't think they know how to rightly teach it. I feel like they need, when somebody is going to school for being a teacher for that, they need to give them more, because it's not all they're doing is oh, this is what depression means, and this is what this means, and that it just oh, this is what anxiety means. But it's okay, so how can we help that? How can we help that? It's literally nothing more than just learning what it is. And what are you gonna do with learning what it is? You're literally, it's not anything. And then all they're oh, there's hotlines if you need anybody. Nobody's really gonna want to go to a hotline. nobody's really going to want to go to online. They're going to need more. Like, they're going to need more than that.
Yeah, and I think the issue there is, again, we're talking about kids, and they don't know how to deal with things. 70% of kids and adults, 70% deal with some sort of mental health. We got to do something. I mean, we're not even getting into those numbers being in autism, which is now bizarre numbers. Everything else, there's all that stuff. Us grown-ups, we can go figure out why or what, but we need to figure out how. And that's where I think the school system, the school system in this fifth core is about teaching life. Rob, it's about teaching life in the Regeneration School Project, in the lab, you know, in the lab that we're talking about, the LEAF lab that we're talking about here. These things are things that you start working with counselors, not just as Emma, we've talked about this. She gets a counselor like halfway through this year to talk about some sort of college she may want to go to. And that's all you ever talk to your counselor, unless you're in trouble or whatever. That should be somebody going through life with, you know, we've got to change the way we affect children within our school population, starting from the beginning, you know, growing up, maybe not before 5, because they got to develop their own personalities. I don't think we want to affect that, right? There's a time thing in there that you got to be careful. But anyway, that's a broad brush of that. So I hope we got you there, Rob. Oh wait, Brandon. Wait, did I skip? Wait, where's Rob? Oh, there it is. Sorry, I skipped like 5 people. Richard, so glad I tuned in live. Amazing insights being shared. Thank you very much. Actually, why don't you say thank you, Emma?
Thank you.
So, and Simon, you should say thank you too, of course. So, Christina, they can't move out of parents' homes because of and this is another thing. As a parent, there's a point where it's like, okay, mom and I, it's time for us to go back and, you know.
Yeah. Got to leave the nest.
Come on, go. They can't move out of parents' homes because of less work, which is true. Good point, Christina. And so many different things to pay that we didn't have to for ages ago. Excellent points. What's been the biggest success story for the Regeneration School program so far? Well, I think working in what we're doing with Simon right now, I think is one of the bigger things. What do you think, Emma? What do you think some of the and again, we're just starting on this, folks. We have not officially, we're working with the school officials. Simon is really working with us on some ideas and some different things that we're doing. Ronalda has been doing a lot of input on different money raising funds for creating fairs and, you know, getting the community involved, that kind of stuff. The bringing together of people, in my opinion, is so far, and it's way early. I like to say it this way: we're on the path of 1,000 miles, and I think Emma and I and Simon's way further ahead than we are. But really, Simon's given us some definition of what those classes should look like, how those should be broken down, and, you know, what he's doing with kids going into colleges is going to be a very light example when you're in kindergarten. Just like math, you do blocks. You know, science isn't science yet. You're not pouring chemicals together. So that's where that definition of where we want to end up has been a very success. What do you think, Emma? What's been some of your favorite things about, whether it be the amount of people we're talking to, the questions that are, to me, those questions are amazing. I just lean into this, Emma, a little bit.
I think today is the biggest, like, successful one. I think being on here with Simon is the biggest one, and I think his program is really good, especially for teens who are trying to get a job. And this is going to, him being on here is going to get that motion and going, and more teens are going to have, like, more teens are going to see it, and more teens are going to have access to an online job and be able to get jobs now and be able to do the things that they need to do.
Excellent point. What do you think, Simon, of what she's saying there?
100%. I mean, that's it. That is the mission. That is the goal. I think the biggest success story from Regeneration School so far is just that it exists and has a vision. That's it.
Yeah, we talked about the 3-year vision of that, and that's,
yep.
I mean, at that point, we're beginning. I mean this. We're beginning to change the world.
Yep.
And that's our little goal here. That's our tiny little goal here. We're changing the world. Because if we don't, there's no way we're ever going to get out of the captivity of our politicians. I don't care if they're Democrats or Republicans. They're all evil and crooked. It's
a mind trap that's trying to perpetuate its own power, not try to help the grassroots.
Ooh, yes. And that's got to change. Oh, sorry. Brandon puts here, the school system is broken, right? Yes. I mean, anybody here say no?
So I would agree that it is. However, there are multiple points of failure. It's not a single point of failure. And we can talk about that maybe on a future show as well.
Damn, you had to say something that brilliant right when you're about ready to have to walk out the door.
It's the teaser,
that thing
dude.
Again. Say that again, because say that again.
Which part about?
Multiple parts are broken. It's not just, yes, it's broken. And Brandon, you're absolutely right. It's broken, but there's so many different areas. And Emma, you and I can dive into that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, Simon, you go. You're on the clock, Simon.
So what I would just say is, like, in terms of the history of public education, which goes back to the 1850s, and we can, and Rod, I put a link in the private chat, which I can't put stuff into comments for some reason, so you can see that.
I don't know why that happens either. Yeah, I'm doing it right now. So go ahead.
So that link to the What Is Going On Here blog post is the history that, if your audience wants to read it, will be like the longer version of what I'm going to say right now. Short version is 19th century. School needed to basically be a factory because they didn't have things other than factories yet to produce things at scale. They were trying to produce industrial workers at scale. We don't need that anymore, right? We don't need an industrial system. We need a human system that grows people who can contribute to industrial systems. We don't need to industrialize humans. That's not what they're for.
Well put. Is that correct there? I put you up there on the
that's it.
On the
comments. That's the post. And Emma and younger people are just getting the booty end of the stick. And so we just need to change that. And you're, that stage behind you, Rod, all that space that you're in, that is the future. It's all right there. It's just a matter of local people spending enough time together, talking, not necessarily agreeing, talking and figuring that effing stuff out.
Yes, absolutely. The reasonable discord back and forth is critical. And that's how we can change things, but only if we're working as a united front. And that's why our shows, our programs here and all around us is really what society's thirsting for, because they know it. They know this needs to change. Simon, do you got a few more minutes for
I do.
I'm definitely not pushing you off.
So actually, here's the good news. So the good news is I'm supposed to take my in-laws' car back to our house. It's an old car. My wife luckily went ahead of me, so now I've got time. I'm good for another 20 minutes. Yeah, 20 minutes.
All right, beautiful. All right, cool. So Emma, do you want to address what we're talking about there? In that, and I'm trying to save my ass because I threw that out to you and trying to get back to where we were. As far as this direction, as far as where we're headed, school systems are broken. Do you agree with that? I'm sure, Emma, you and I have talked enough about this. Here's the thing. I went to 3 different high schools and 8 different elementary schools because I was in the military. Emma hasn't moved and has had to go to 3 different high schools over the last, year and a half, 2 years, because the systems are so broken. She needs something more. And so she's had to work and figure out with her mom. Her mom's, I don't know how she's pulled some of this off, but enter what do they call it? What do you call that, Emma? When you're you're not going to the school system. You live in that. You're
It's
outside
not
of where you live.
international, because international is like
No,
far.
not.
No. I have
No,
no
not
idea.
international. So she's actually gone to schools. She's gone to a private school, that one wasn't the great example I gave earlier. It wasn't such a great example because that's the risk. It's a charter school or this school or that school. You know, you think all of these things are good, but you got to really check them out because the whole system is broken because they have to work off of what the national system does. And if they're not if they're not capable of handling that, then it becomes a worse situation because they don't have the same funding because it's beyond our tax dollars, which the national system uses. You agree, Simon? Or
Yeah,
Emma, you agree?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, the funding system is super messed up. And it's part of what's going on is, and you know this, Rod, American families are under greater and greater and greater and greater financial pressure since the mid 70s. The chickens are coming home to roost. And so one of the things that schools have been asked to do, and my dad was a 5th and 6th grade teacher, schools are asked to do more and more parenting. So part of the way that school systems are broken is from the top. Part of the way they're broken is from the bottom. And the teachers in the middle are not being paid a living wage in most states. That's just, that's going to be an effed up situation.
It is big time. And the problem is what you just said is one, they're not getting paid enough. But we just lost Emma. Uh-oh. Wow, I'm the only one. I'm the strongest one in the group right now. So we'll get to her. I wanted to get to her in this.
There's a question there's a question from Anita about families getting involved locally that I want to make sure you had a chance to speak. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I was just saying. Hi, Emma. Welcome back.
Hello. Sorry, I was trying to zoom out of my screen, and then I accidentally clicked the refresh, and it literally just popped me off, and I was just like, "Oh, wow."
So we were talking about the different ways that you really didn't miss anything. We're just kind of wrapping that up. But as that sentence was that topic, we're just kind of winding and flavoring it down. Anita came to us with a great question. And if, Emma, do you agree? Why don't you read the question and read it to Simon so that he can answer that and you guys can dialogue on it a minute. Does that work for you, Emma?
Yes. How can families get involved in this initiated
initiative
locally?
Uh-huh. Perfect. And I know Simon's got the answer to that because he and I have already, and Emma, all three of us have passed information back. There's a very real and logical answer to this question. And correct me if I'm wrong, Simon.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, the thing to do is to keep watching this show. And as Rod and I make the plan of what does that local initiative look like, we'll have more details. It's a little bit early because I only met Rod like 2 weeks ago. So it's a little bit early there.
Yeah, and what we're doing is eventually we're going to have an additional show lane. That's let's say it's Simon and I. I think Simon, right now, are you good with Saturdays every once in a while? Also,
sure.
So yeah. We'll talk about that. But Simon and I are dedicating Monday morning to certain things. Whether what that Monday is a show, or whether that Monday is a planning session, or whether that Monday is a design thing, or whatever. Right, Simon? Right on.
Yep, that's it.
There.
That's it.
All right. So, how do you plan on what role are you going to play in connecting schools or do you currently play in connecting schools in the real world careers? Damn it! Thank you. I know.
Yeah,
I was thinking that. Go ahead.
So what the Leaf Lab does in terms of connecting lab graduates with real world careers is you come into the lab, you work and you either do our 12-week program or the 24-week program. You leave then with professional certifications and a digital portfolio and skill badges, which you can then present to any recruiter who's using standard recruiting tools. And we have partners there. So I hope that answers that question specifically enough. So we don't come into the lab and say, we've got a job for you guaranteed. That would be insane. What we do is we
stay there for a second. So in that, you just said a 12-week or a 24-week, and you leave after that amount of time with something digital footprint on your portfolio, on your resume. As well as it's only 12 weeks. So what does a 12-week certificate look like? And just this is, I know you have a picture of what you wanted to show. And actually, if you take long enough, I may bring it up because I have some of this stuff, you know that.
Yeah. And so I guess what I would say is, because I've just got to go in a minute, as we have these Saturday conversations, I can bring in various of my business partners. We can talk more sort of in terms of the details so that your audience can understand those. The way that the lab works is anywhere you can get on the internet, you can get in the front door of the lab. And so we meet people where they are when they inquire. We can help people get a lab at their school. We can talk to administrators. We can do, kind of whatever is needed on the school side of things locally to get students engaged and involved and growing marketable skills.
And I'll just add to that, because we talked about this, Head Start programs are also something where we can start, in that counselor concept and teaching teachers to teach program, because we're going to need local, that's where all these things kind of build together. You agree with that?
Yeah. And so we have a well-established multiple years training program and pedagogy that we can train any teacher in the LEAF method. We're glad to do that. It was built by teachers for teachers. So anyone in the education space who wants to learn how to bring this to your school and not even need a lab, we can also show you how to do that, professional development, that kind of stuff.
That's huge, man. Emma, what do you think about what Amy has to say here?
What Amy has to say? Just
on the screen. Yep.
Yes. Just thank you. Thank you a lot for all the support that everyone is bringing.
So it's a great, and this is the website, the URL for Leaf Lab Adventure Show. These guys are really starting to get dialed into our show. This is another podcast. So there may be some resounding, and I like the whole concept because, and that's why we're kind of doing right now is kind of polka dotting some things around for people, because this is like the first deeper dive. I think Emma and I can over time as whatever shows we do, when we do them, we could definitely start dedicating. Here's some things that I had today, and we talk about the really good eyeliner she found, or the beautiful nails that she added to. We've gone over bunnies and butterflies, I think, is the latest two, and those are always fun for me. She always accuses me I like it better than she does, but I'm gonna deny that.
You just brought it up.
So how does the Leaf Lab method actually work in a classroom? So again, all we're doing is just polka dotting right now, but we got to add a little bit more color, because these folks they're dying to, I got to wrap my head around it.
Sure. So for the educators in the audience, this is a version of what's called project-based learning or experiential learning or hands-on learning. That's how it actually works. And we can bring in eons of case studies for anyone who wants to see application from the very smallest level up to the highest level. Many of these methods are appropriate in elementary grade for learning executive functioning skills and organization. So we can talk, Rod, I have a little presentation that you called the Less Stressed, More Adaptable Family. We can release that as a downloadable PDF to your audience or whatever, we can find lots of ways to get the information out so that regular folks, whether they're homeschooling or not, can start to learn these methods, because we do have homeschoolers as well in our network.
Yeah, and we have a number of guests that have been homeschoolers, and that's where it really started to look like this program needed to be developed, because homeschoolers were telling us, hey, my homeschool kids are decades ahead, but lots way ahead, and they're teaching, kids are running businesses by the time they're going into high school, going into Brandon. My son had his own business in high school. I tried to quit him to quit doing something. I said, okay, listen, if you're going to do this, you need to prove to me it's going to make money. And the son of a bitch was making more money than I was at the time, I think, in high school. And he was bringing home like $300-400 a day selling the games. He would run them up to a point. And now this is let's see, oh my God, when was this? This is probably in the 90s. He was in high school and he was building this stuff up. So I was like, okay, no more words. No, I'm not going to say it. And so he just made a smart ass comment there. It's higher now on the stop ins. Christina, I'm sending an email. 2 of my kids could already use your help.
Cool.
Whoa. Okay. So you've got some people connecting with you there, Simon.
Good.
And I guarantee you, Emma's very interested. I've been watching her facial expressions, because she's getting very frustrated. I mean, she loves what she's doing here, but she needs to earn her income. She's got a car waiting for her, which you and I will talk about here in a minute.
October 15th. I mean, yeah, October 15th.
No. Yeah, I know October 15th, but next week you've got some insurance papers heading out to you. Next week. That'll align with your October 15th. You mean on Austin's birthday?
Yeah, it's on his birthday. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
So I'm doing it at 11. Wait, since those insurance are coming, does that mean I can drive it?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
We'll talk about it offline. I meant to talk to you last night, but you were so busy. So I've gotten some things dialed in. So here, Christine's going to send you an email, which she probably already has. And she goes, yes, preach, Simon, preach. Okay, you see what he's saying. I'm not even going to read that. But
bro.
He is. Yes. I got a question. Here. Now, this time, ask the question instead of just say, I have a question for you, Dean. Did you do that? What do you think, Emma, about women that hate their spouse? Oh, come on, dude. That hate their spouse but stay because their financial stability. Okay, it's a real question, but I know it's her man. Dean is her guy. So, Simon, sorry, there's a little family thing going on here. So, Emma, since your man brought the question up, what do you think about women that have to stay because of financial needs? Although that could change these days a lot.
Is that really I know that's still, it used to be a thing back then, they would just stay, but they kind of needed to. If they get beat, then I don't know what to say about that.
Well, I think I can jump in. Simon, do you want to add anything to this? Because I think I can add to it as well.
Go ahead.
And then his next question is actually much even better than the other one. But Dean, right? Yeah, I don't know why I went blank. The answer is yeah. So where you're going, Emma, is back in the 50s. Yeah, I mean it was men ruled everything. It was a different society back then. It was before I was even born. Go ahead.
I don't know. I don't know. You can talk on it because I don't know what to say on that. I would just say leave, but it's really so much more complicated than that. They're gonna have to go and try to secretly find education and secretly do that so then they can get the job and then leave.
Well, and that's if it's a single family home income, and now I think the justice system has gone that pendulum all the way back to where women could leave and just take everything from men, and now it's back to more centered, more realistic. The judges are saying, okay, what, and trying to make the best situation. Here's why: 70. We say 70% of children, all age, well, maybe not babies, but children and adults, 70% deal with mental health at some degree. And that's a fact. The other interesting thing is, in the same vein, at the same time now, 70% of marriages end in divorce. When I first got married, that number was not quite known, but somewhere around, Simon, 45, 50%, right?
Yeah.
And in a few short decades, now it's over 70% of marriages end in divorce. So the whole world, our whole society is going wrong. And here's where I wanted to lean into that is Dean says here, also, why do you think mental health affects teens more than it should, or that it used to? What do you first, Simon? I'll give this off to you after Emma. Emma, what do you think? Because we talk about mental health a lot, and you have a very good approach to not only mental health but being bullied. If people are bullying you or trying to force you into do something, they're not your people. Move on. Get some strength. Get some balls. But what do you think about mental health? Right? What do you think? What do you think? How would you answer that, Emma?
I think that a lot of kids are going through a lot. They have a lot of hormones. They have a lot of things to stress about. And it's like being a teenager is really stressful. So mental health kind of just attacks. Like it just attacks whatever. And then they have to figure out why they're feeling that way. And it's a whole thing. And especially with the hormones and all that, they're going to feel it a lot. Like they're going to feel it a lot because you're coming up to an adult and you're trying to figure out so many things. So it's really, really stressful. And I think that's why it just like it's like that. And I just think a lot of teens go through a lot. They go through a
Yeah,
lot.
I think they not only do they go through a lot, but I think they're expected. The life of today is like when I was 16, I never thought about. I mean, whatever I did, I just did. Right, come home when the light on the porch is on. Right, and so we were living in a different society, whereas now it's great that so much information's out there. There's so much ability, but at the same thing, you're also being over pushed. You're being soaked in it. What do you think, Simon?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's the pressures are really just extreme. And one of the other things that we also know is when you have unlimited screen time access, you can then compare yourself to other people and feel bad all day long.
Well, that's funny you say that. Remember last week, niece, she was talking about that exact same thing.
But also, it's like a lot more. It's a lot more. I just feel like a lot of kids, like they have a lot of stress for like upcoming to an adult and barely like kind of still being a kid and having to get expected to do stuff, and then all the hormones and all their feeling. It's a lot. Like it's a lot.
And I'd add to that in where I think where I'm very excited about the middle. These so many things. It's a lot. No, just kidding. No, I had to use that. It was an attempt at humor. Maybe not so good, but it was an attempt. The Regeneration School Program is something that is multifunctional. For instance, this, Simon, we've talked about this a bunch, and Emma, this for sure, obviously. But with the the Regeneration School Project, you're fixing kids, right? You're not only teaching them life skills, you're teaching them life skills along the math, history, science, etc. You've got a fifth core, and that's important. But if that child then grows up through this system, you've got to have the adults. The parents have to have more tools. I think a lot of what you were saying, Emma, I got to point up here. You're down here, but I got to point up here. I think a lot of what you're saying is because in a lot of cases, not in every case, because there's a lot of great parents out there and there's a lot of great parenting out there. And even in the not as perfect situation, there's still great parenting going on. This isn't about beating up parents, but what it is and what I know from history, from my own, I didn't have all the tools of being a parent or being a good person necessarily. I mean, I had Brandon, we got married at 24 years old, which in today's world is kind of actually early. But I mean, that's how everybody did it back then. You know, my mom had me when she was 3 weeks before her 19th birthday. And so they got married early. And so if you look back at that, that's generational passing on the baton of maybe not the best skill sets as being a parent or even a person. I mean, depending on who you are. So my point being that there's also there's a weekly interaction between the kid. You know, the kid gives a report for an essay, let's say, to their parent in the program as part of the class. And after school program where adults are learning some of those skills, but also learning like AI skills because the world's changing. If I'm 40 years old right now, like my son, and he's got a 2-year-old now, there's a lot of people that already have a lot of those talents, like he does, you know, as far as how to earn extra income, how to deal with AI, how this and but out here in the rural areas, I guarantee you, people I know that have young children, they don't know they can use additional tools. They can use additional education. What do you think of that, Simon?
Totally agree. Totally agree. I mean, the good news is there's never been a better time to be a learner because we've got better resources than we've ever had by a mile. So as much as in the present moment, I'm worried for the kind of medium and longer term, I think there's lots to be excited about.
Yeah. What do you think, Emma? What's your exposure level to where we're at right now in this conversation? What do you think of what we're saying?
I think it's all good. I think everything that you guys say is pretty good.
Oh, you know what, Simon, I'm bringing you on every single time I talk to Emma because usually she just loves me, but now everything that we're saying is good. So I think you're stepping me up a level here. I think this is working out for me personally very well. So Brandon says also the materials is outdated and doesn't teach the life skills. So that he's talking about the current school system, right? And what you're talking about, Simon, is yes, all of this is so true. But in today's world right now, if you need to learn new things, I mean, you could just have a AI agent say, hey, tell me everything, go scrape out there and tell me you don't have to just Google and try and click on this. You know, that was the old way. Mm-hmm. Now you just tell your agent to go out and find everything and teach me about this. So like what you're saying, there's no better time in history to get those skills than now.
Yep. And it's never been easier than now.
Exactly. Let's see what Ronaldo, she's kicking back in here. Okay. So she used to be a Denver bigwig person in different programs for the city of Denver in Colorado.
Oh, awesome.
Well, with what's going on today, I don't know how it was back then, but
I'm glad that she's been doing that work and has that experience. Let me leave it at that.
Yeah, absolutely. I worked with kids and parents in sports, and I've never had the parents support. So how will you get parents more involved? This is a tough and good question. I offer food and they would show up. That's true. Okay. Well, hold on. Let's go with Emma. How do you think you could get, like, in what she's saying? Again, let's throw you into your feet into the fire here, because these are adults saying, "Okay, I get it. Parents to get involved. You know, you have a school board and you have 1 or 2 volunteers, and everybody else is too busy." That's what she's saying, right, Simon? How do you think, Emma? How do you think you get people involved? And what she's talking about here, she worked for the city of Denver in a lot of very high profile things. including within the school system, to get the school systems better built. As a matter of fact, when we first started this, and then kind of built it into, okay, we're going to start a pilot program. She introduced me to a program in Denver that has a similar. Of course, unfortunately, the people in that system were a little corrupt and they were skimming money. So it was a not-for-profit, and they were politicians, I guess. She's very, very in on this. Emma, what do you think? And then Simon, take the hand off from Emma, if you would.
I think that it's hard for some parents to show up to certain things because they have work, and a lot of people have multiple jobs. So it's really hard for people to show up. So yet you can offer things, and more probably will want to show up because they don't have to cook. They don't have to, offer games, offer food. Food is really good. Most people will show up for food. But it'll still it'll still be really hard because some parents just are not able to because they're so busy with 2 jobs, 1 job, 3 jobs. Like, it's just hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I also think that there are a lot of parents who also use that as an excuse. So yes, there are very hardworking people who can't get to their kids' games. That's a fact. Like, I grew up poor. My parents went to 1 of my sports, or 2 of my sports in 4 years. It wasn't because they didn't care. They had to make money because we had to eat. So the question is, how do you get those parents where they've got 1 job and they're making 70, 80, 90K each and not showing up? That's a whole different thing of parents not prioritizing being present in their kids' life enough. And there's a lot of that too.
So that again, Emma, I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
They're just lazy. And there's
lazy
nothing you
and
can
selfish.
there's nothing you can really do about a lazy person. You can't offer them something because they're already making enough money. They can go and get food if they feel like it. They just don't want to go get up and show up and sit at a game for an hour or 2.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Or they just don't care about their kids. I mean, a lot of parents become parents and then they kind of lose interest in their kids. I mean, it's a sad thing, but a lot of parents just see school and sports as primarily a babysitter so they can do whatever.
Yeah, and I'll just kind of add to that those philosophies in the same way that I talk about. This started as wanting to create what I would call watch parties, which I think there's another term out there for something else, but watch parties meaning groups of people get together and talk about, and this was originally just politics. It went from interviewing industry leaders for my job, and you know that, Simon. Mm-hmm. And then we started because the politics has been so difficult and challenging for a long, long time, but about the middle class. So what I say in that is, look, true about everything you guys are saying, exactly the truth. And how do we get them to get involved is the question. So when you ask that, I say, I know right now, you know how hard it to get people to dedicate an hour a week or 2 hours a week to come together and talk about the political, what's this bill, what's that bill, vote this coming up, this, that, and just having that conversation. That's probably not going to go very far. However, if I was let's see, what team do I want to choose right now? I'm going to say the New England Patriots. And I have a football game. I guarantee you there'll be at least 90,000 people in that stadium every Sunday. Every Sunday for 3 hours. Why? Because it's part of their life. It's enjoyable. It's, the football is entertainment, or soccer or tennis. I just use football because it brings big numbers. Or NASCAR. Here's the thing. How do we interest people in doing it? So, Simon, I saw the interest of parents for the kids in the job thing. So that's a bam. Yep. I mean, that's the football connection right there that I was talking about. Now, how do you on the regeneration program? How do you get parents involved? Well, food. That's one for the kids. Like, I can get to the library here. One of the things that we're talking about, Simon, and we were talking about this for getting some additional capital run, because I want to have some fall festival, Fest and with games and bounce houses and, getting kids here to the school, and then we'll be doing the show. So now we can get people starting to be on the show, right? That whole thing. But how do we get parents to now get involved to spend an hour after school program? Now you can get some of them for sure, no doubt about it, especially younger moms or dads that are with their kids all the time, but you have the same issues like you're talking about. So that's where it comes in. And Ronaldo, I agree with you. Those are all great programs, and you and I talk about a bunch of them. Simon, you and I and Emma have just talked about a bunch of them. Emma, you're saying that we're all talking about the bunch of them. But here's the key is how do we make it to where, okay, doing this is going to change my life forever exponentially, including my kids' life. And the reason I want to do this is because I firmly believe if we do all this right, there's a utopia waiting for us. And a utopia happens when AI, the new school system, people's mental health, all the politicians are in line, all that comes together and converges so that because the costs are going to come down to basically next to nothing because robots are going to make everything so efficient, work's going to change. So there's a pull in for the adults there, but that's the thing we got to work on, right? Is making it essential, feeling that it's essential in people's lives. That's how we accomplish that, isn't it?
Amen.
That's our task, isn't it, Emma? To make it essential in people's minds.
Mm-hmm.
Ronaldo, we got to work on making it essential with Simon and Emma here. Brandon, you got to jump in with us. My daughter is in Montessori school. By the way, his daughter, my other granddaughter, your cousin, she started riding a bike at, I think it was 18 months old. She's like way ahead. I mean, he sent me a video of this other parent that was sitting there. She was like 8 months old or something. She was riding the bike around. Heck, we usually ride bikes at what, 3, 4, something like that, 5 maybe. I don't know. Anyway, that was pretty cool. So anyway, my daughter's in a Montessori school, and she's well ahead. Montessori is another type of program. That's kind of what we want to do here. Mm-hmm. Is have that program that is specifically designed for taking kids where they are and not inhibiting them. And that's what our current system does, is inhibit them. Mm-hmm. I think you'd agree with that, Emma, wouldn't you?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, social media is... Go ahead.
I'm afraid I do have to go. I'm going to start getting in trouble here if I don't go. And I'm just very excited to come back. Emma, great to meet you. And, Rod, like I said, I'm on your show whenever you need me because the work you're doing is so vital. And you've obviously got a lot of people that are stoked about what you're doing. So, we'll keep going.
At an hour and 40 minutes, there's still 6,000 people on here. Simon, you did awesome. Emma, why don't you give him a big wave? Why don't you give a final comment, Simon?
Sure.
Anything that you want to add to what you just said, and a big wave, and we'll see you down the road.
The only thing I would add is just gratitude to your audience for giving a shit and listening, and for your granddaughter for being a boss lady in the process. And we'll keep going. I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Boss lady, kick-ass lady. Yep.
And then Rod, I'll see you Monday morning for our regular weekly strategy meetup.
You got it, brother. Big wave to your fans. All right. So, I told you that was going to be awesome, Emma. And we still got, 3 or 4 questions. Anything you want to wrap up to what Simon said? I booted him. He's gone. He's history.
Just encourage people to join that Leaf. Is that what it's called? Leaf? It sounds like a good program.
Leaf.org.
Mm-hmm.
So since you said that, it's L-EAF.org, Leaf program. That's how you find out about it. Go ahead, Emma. Sorry.
But I would suggest people going over to there because it sounds like a good problem and really helpful to teenagers. I would probably go to the program. I'd probably do it.
Yeah, you should. You should. And I think it's a good idea for you to check it. Heck, 12 weeks and you get a ticket to the front of the line. At 16, you get a ticket to the front of the line. I don't know. I know how it works. I don't know all the individual details. I did send you, if you look at one of the last emails I sent you yesterday, there's a description in there in how what I did is I sent him some questions and some notes of how we converge and how we cooperate together. And so there's some very good information about that. But obviously the website's good too. And Brandon brings up a point here that you and I talk about quite a bit. Social media has caused mental health issues for young adults. And that's part of that unlimited on there all the time, bullying, taking the bullying serious and all that, right? All right, so Come Indias. It sounds Italian. This is awesome. My kids are going to love this. Cool. Thank you very much. And then I think one more thing. Yeah, he must be bravo. Same person said bravo. Well, I mean, what other things do you want to cover? We're coming up on 1 o'clock my time, which is 11 o'clock your time.
Yeah.
So what do you want to cover? Anything you want to say as a final comment? Or do you have some other things you want to talk about? I got time. Whatever you want to do. It's your show, girl. I'm ready
to leave.
Okay, you're done. You're ready to get moving out?
Yeah, I'm gonna start cleaning, and I'm going to a pumpkin patch today too. So.
Oh, how fun! Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So why don't you wrap it up? By the way, I guess he's not Italian. He corrected me there. It's English. So okay.
Well,
this is. Go ahead.
Thank you everyone for watching and supporting, and thank you for having me on here, Grandpa. And I'm gonna leave now. Thank you. This was a really long one too, by the way.
Very long one. This is the longest one you've ever done.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Love you, girl. I'll talk to you later. Give everybody a wave.
Hold on. He said, "Who are you going with?" I'm going to the pumpkin patch with my boyfriend. You see the comment just did?
Good answer. Yeah. You nailed a couple of them. All right, you have yourself a great time at the. Oh, you're going with him? Are you bringing? So is mom and dad going, or just you guys?
No, he's gonna pick me up. Yeah, we do. We're gonna go to Universal too. He's gonna take me to Universal. He's gonna pick me up, and then we're gonna go to this one in Chino. It has like a koi maze and some fair stuff, and then I think the 29th, maybe, I don't know if he's still on here. The 29th, we're gonna go to Universal Horror Nights. Nice.
Well, by the 29th, you should drive him. No, you can't do that. You can't do that yet, can you? You got to wait.
I mean, but he has a license, so I wouldn't see why I wouldn't be able to drive him if he has a valid license.
No, I know that, but I think isn't there an age like a 20? Isn't it 25 at your age that you can't? I don't know what other rules are, but next week you can. Well, after the 15th, you can drive. You're gonna have all your paperwork next week, though.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna head out. Bye. Love you.
All right, dear. Love you. Give everybody a wave. All right. So just say it the way you think it's said. Bravo? I know how bravo is said. All right. And then you've got, what did you say here? Who are you going to the, no, I think I know who this is. Anyway, don't repeat the name. Okay, I won't. That was a weird end to the show. That was an awesome show. Still got about 5,300 people on. I'm gonna run out quickly here. Anybody got any last comments they want to run by before I call it a day, or at least a show? Put it in the can, wrap her up. So with that, this is Insights and Straight Talk. I'm your host, Rod Duff, And I am very excited the way this show is continuing to grow and the important messages that are being said. As your host, Rod Duff, I'm out.
Before you leave, if you'd like to watch another one of the podcasts, click the first link in the description. We love having you here and we appreciate all your support.
And with that, producer Barbie and I are out.